Senegal's President Diomaye Faye, has given his first ever interview to international media, that is the New York Times, just before he departed to New York for the United Nations General Assembly. Now, in his interview, this is the article that came out at the New York Times and reposted on another online media. So he said, actually, he called for the world, for the new, in his first interview, for the new world order. That's what his emphasis was in his interview with the New York Times. So Diomaye Faye said the United Nations has to change to reflect changing world demographics. It looks like that. He thinks that world demography has something to do with power. Anyway, let's continue. This is kind of the gist of the article. Now, he reflected President Faye. For those of you who don't know him well, now he became this popular president last March during the election in Senegal, and in April, beginning of April, he resumed power, literally from prison to president-elect in Senegal. So it was just 10 days after he was released from prison, together with his fellow Osman Sonko, that their party took power from their predecessor, which is Macky Sall, a different party. Now that makes him, let's say, youngest elected president. Now, what makes it special is that he's young, 44 years old, and now he carries these hopes of the youngest, fastest growing population, we can say, on earth, as Africa has the fastest growing population, and also Senegal is not different. Now, they saw the young population in him a fresh start and a break with Africa's aging presidents and military rulers. Well, I doubt that, but let me just summarize the article for you. Now, until now, he has not given any interview with international media. Now, speaking with the New York Times, he said he made the case for a different world order that gives more weight to Africa. Now, this was before he travels to the United Nations General Assembly. He said demographic importance should help determine who holds power at the United Nations. That's what Faye said. And he pointed out that by 2050, Africa's population will likely be nearly 2.5 billion, accounting for an estimated one of every 4 people will be an African in our planet by then. Now, here are my reflections on his call for a new world order and emphasizing on demographic, on the world demographics. He thinks that that's where power lies. First of all, look. Now, demographic importance, he said, can help to determine whole power, but not without really having control of the economic power in your own country. Now, his remarks, of course, came amid growing calls for permanent African representation in the United Nations Security Council. Now, this meant the United States said it would support 2 permanent seats for African countries, but this is unlikely to happen soon. And the United States made it clear that these 2 permanent seats will not have veto power. Then that is really an insult, slap on the face. Why would you even advocate for that instead of asking and criticizing for the United States to have the audacity to say to Africa that I'm giving you, or I'm supporting you for your permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council, but you will not have power. It is the same thing what that the United States and the whole West has been doing in Africa. That they will even control the power that you have in your own country. Now let's talk about you, Diomaye Faye. Okay, first of all, lesson 101 is not only demographic thing can add to it, but power comes when you control your economy, when you have a freedom in your economy, independent one that you can control, that benefit to your to the nations that you lead, to the interest of the nation that you lead. Okay, so how about, this is my advice, my 2 cents for President Diomaye Faye before calling a new world order to the world. How about charity begins at home? How about talking about for a new order in ECOWAS? Why not telling the ECOWAS that about the Sahel states and what they have done wrong against these states? And then why not supporting the Sahel states? It's all, if you have that weight of that, you said it gives you this unique position in the world that to carry the hopes of the young people in your country, then why not listening to them? The last time we checked, the protest in your country was actually after you gave that interview local to the local media that you don't want a sudden break with your colonial past. That's when the protests come. That's saying that actually they want you to support the Sahel states. Why not following in their footsteps? Why not taking action that shows and clearly manifests that you want a breakaway with your colonial past, instead of causing with your colonial past with President Macron and France 2 times in a month? Why not addressing the real issue? Why not coming and disclosing what you have talked with your President Macron, with your tete-a-tete meeting, private meeting behind a closed door in Paris? Okay? Why not also, let's talk about the continent Africa. Why not advocating a new order in the African Union? Why not telling the African Union to restore the membership of these states, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, that telling them what they have done is wrong? Why not making your voice being heard even in ECOWAS, instead of serving as a messenger to bring back these states that really, after a hard fought independence that they have got from their colonial past, after their breakaway, to bring them back to in an institution or organization that is sponsored and led by the imperialists? So all I am saying is charity begins at home. Do the work, what you need to do in your own country, before talking about wallet and even advocate for that wrong thing. Africa should not really fight for that powerless permanent seat as the United Nations Security Council, and neither you should. So that's really my 2 cents for President Diomaye Faye. Do what you have to do. Make the environment conducive for the youth to thrive. Ever since you came to power, the IOM, the International Organization for Migration, has counted 20,000 Senegalese people has arrived in Spain, taking that hard route by boat and risking their life. And recently, hundreds of them have died. You have been there in the local town. So do what you need to do in your own country. Stay in your lane. There's nothing wrong to talk about that, but you are even advocating for the wrong thing. What? Africa has a permanent seat at the UN Security Council with no power. And you talk about power. No, It doesn't come with demography. Have you seen how the US, China, Russia, and all those run the world? Not because of their demography, because their economic power. Haven't you taken your lesson? The youth gave you their vote because you promised, your party promised a breakaway with the colonial past, with your support to the Sahel states, and also changing that currency that's run by France. All this have not been done. So you do your work at home. Charity begins at home. Anyway, fam, that was it for me. Just to reflect on his interview that he gave to the New York Times, Diomaye Faye. That's my 2 cents. So let us know in the comment section, what do you think of his statements that calling for a new world order? Yeah, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give it a like if you think what we bring you here is relevant and informative enough. Share the video with others. Do not keep the information only to yourself. And it will help also our YouTube algorithm. If you want to support us further, which we would love to, because it will help us to be here so more often, that is, go to our description section and you can find our PayPal account so you can support us. Any amount is good for us. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one. Tune in. We will keep on posting those important speeches that have been done by the heads of states, that has been delivered by the heads of states, the African heads of states, and others that matters to Africa as a United Nation. All right. Bye-bye.